Good morning, viewers. Good morning, friends. Good morning, family. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Good morning, everybody out there. It's a pleasure to be here today, and um, I am glad to be here. Um, I guess I think last 2 weeks we began a series on understanding life, and this is the part three. The first part that we had was the introduction. Last week we talked about what life is all about, and today we will begin to talk about the principles of life. And today's first principle is that life is a journey. Good morning, friends. Hello, Sister June Bugeni. It's always a pleasure to see you here on the platform. I'm so glad to be here and then talking with you as well. Hi, Anfield, Lupu, Anfield. Thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure seeing you here on the platform. Today is going to be really interesting, because this topic, life is a journey, uh, for so many people is not really um, interesting, because several people hear that statement, "Oh, life is a journey, life is a journey," but they are not really giving thought to it as a journey. So today we'll be talking about life is a journey, and I don't want just it to be a straight jacket thing. I want us to interact. Okay, there will be times when I'll be asking for your participation. Please be a part of us, join us, interact with us, ask questions, make comments. Yes, we really need your participation. It gets the live broadcast really interesting. Hi, Kayemba Muzafaru. It's a pleasure seeing you here on the platform. I Najir Malik, thank you for joining us today. It's a pleasure seeing you here on the platform. Also, as we normally do, we will encourage each and every one of us to share the live broadcast with your friends, family, colleagues, neighbors. Everybody needs to benefit from this. Yes, actually, we are always speaking to the youths, but guess what? Everybody can benefit from this. My wife is sharing. My wife is also on the platform. She's also sharing with you guys, and so let's get busy. Let's get rocking. I'm so happy this morning because this is life. Hi, Tamale. Hi, it's a pleasure to see you here on the platform. Great. So, shall we begin? Are we prepared? Well, let's kick on then. Life is a journey. Last weekend, we talked about what life is all about, and we try to define what life is, okay? And we looked into different areas. We looked at a particular definition from a man called Tom Baransky, who is an associate of associate professor of medicine and developmental biology, and we looked at how he defined, life. Okay, there is one thing that I would like to begin with, which will help us to understand in a much more deeper. Last week we were able to look at life from perspective of scholars, okay? And though we looked at one of the books of wisdom, which is the Holy Bible, we looked at how the preacher defines life, how he views life, when he said meaningless, life is meaningless, and he gave several, reasons for his statement, But today, I'd like us to look at life from um, from a statement also in the Bible. Okay, why am I going back to the Bible? You see, it is difficult for someone to define life without life itself. Okay, what do I mean? All right. Um, so if you are of the opinion that the life came from an explosion, chemical reactions, forming together and exploding to form what we see today, uh, well, it's a good thing to think about that. But the truth of the matter is, life cannot, life should, or life cannot just start from a vacuum. It cannot start from nothing, because life itself is life. It means life is it has always been, is, and will continue to be. Before you were born, life is. You and I are experiencing life because it is what we were born into. Okay? Now, whether we like it or not, at some point, we will give up the ghost. We will leave this body. All right? And life will still continue. What am I saying? I am saying that there is something that encapsulates everything. I'm not talking about the earth, because the earth is just a part of life. All right? I'm talking about the whole idea of existence. It is part of life. It is something that is designed, that is created. You see, till date, scientists are still discovering the universe. Scientists are still, they are still looking, at different parts of the world. They are discovering new stars. They are discovering new planets. All right? I tell you, in the next 10 years, you'll be wow that we have more planets than what we have known today. Previously, when we were growing up, we only knew about 8 planets, all right, including the Earth. Now, the planet that we know now is more than 17 planets. So what am I talking about? There is more to discover. And why is there more to discover? Because life, it has been in existence before now. We, in our own limited mind, are just discovering life. All right? So, but anyways, let's go back to the topic, the real topic. Life is a journey. First, I want to say that life, I read the Bible, and I came to the understanding. According to John chapter 1:1-4, it says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was with God in the beginning. Through him all things were made. Without him nothing was made that has been made. In him was life, and that life was the light of mankind. Now, what does that tell you? That means that If you really want to know what life is, you have to trace it to the genesis of life, the beginning of life. And where can you find such documents? The book of the books. The Holy Bible can never be contested with any other Bible, with any other document that you can ever find. All right? And this document tells us that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. So, in other words, it is saying that in the beginning, whatever existed was God. And now, he said that this Word was God. Now, this Word was with God in the beginning. Through him, all things were made. Through God, who is the Creator. Without him, nothing was made that has been made. That is to tell us that even science, art, astrology, and every other thing that you put together comes from one source of life, comes from one brilliant mind, one super brilliant mind called God. And in him was life. In God was life. And that life was that light, was the light of mankind, of all mankind. Okay, now what does that tell us? It simply tells us that everything that you want to know about life begins from God. Now, who is God? Nobody can particularly, say that this is God. But what we can say is that God is in you. God is in me. God is in all his creation. But we've read from the Holy Book that God is spirit. And to relate with him, you have to relate with him, from the spiritual, realm. Okay? You have to relate with him with a spiritual mind. It means you have to be a spirit person to be able to relate with God, because he is life. Now, the topic of today is life is a journey. All right. Now, it simply means that if you look at it together, life is the ability or force to conceive something. When you conceive it, you begin it. You take it to a point where you have achieved a goal, you end it, and you do it all over again. Now, since existence, that's what life has been like. Okay? Now, let's come to our own level. Let's leave the level of the celestial. Let's come to the level of the terrestrial. Now, you and I, when we do stuff together, when we do stuff on our own, we start up a project. We conceive a project in our minds. We start it all off, okay? We push it forward. We look for means to sustain it, okay? And then when we get to some point, we either let it roll, especially when we have a system in place to get it rolling, or we end it. And then we find some other time to start it all over again, or immediately we start it all over again. So life is a journey. I can cite several examples. Okay, a child is born today, is conceived in the womb. We give birth to the child. Hi, Gil. Ogoraka. A child is born today. We celebrate the child. Okay, we nurture the child. All right. The child grows up to be an adolescent, to a teenager, to an adult. Okay, the child reproduces him or herself if he wants to, and then on the long run, the child dies. Okay, now, and then we see someone else has come to replace the person. So it's a journey. Okay, now the person who left. It doesn't really mean that the person, that is the end of the person. No, the person is still going on a journey. Okay, now I told you last week that we were talking about life in different ways. Okay, now life being a journey is a principle that we must learn. Okay, now let's interact now. You will need to write your comments on the comment section. Hello, Bafo. It's a pleasure to see you on the platform. Okay, we're just talking about what life is a journey, one of the principles of life. Okay, that we must know. Yeah. Now, everybody at one point in time has embarked on a journey to a destination before. Is that correct? Okay. Now, one of the questions I want to throw at us is this. When you travel, what do you experience? When you travel, what do you experience? First, what are the plans you put in place to travel? When you eventually go ahead traveling, which means of transportation do you use? Is it by air, by road, by rail, by sea or water? And when you travel, what are the real experiences that you have? Please, I want you to write your comments in the comment section. I will tell you what I usually experience. Okay, and they are things that everybody usually experiences, but we don't sit back to think about these things, and they are very vital to what life is all about. Okay, so I'm waiting for your comments. All right, when you travel, what do you experience? Yes, who's going to write the first comment? Who's going to write the first comment? I'm waiting for your comments. I am waiting for your comments. Nobody's writing anything at the moment. Please, somebody write something. Let me know that we are participating here. No one yet. I'll wait. at least I need someone, just one person, to write something in the comment section. When you travel, what do you experience? Or maybe I should give you an expose, right? Okay. So when you travel, for example, do you travel alone? Do you travel with people? Okay. And when you do travel, uh, what are the things that you experience? Do you, aha, Sister June is writing, anticipation to get there, aha. We want to get to our destinations on time. Okay, Esther is writing, packing things needed for the journey, have enough resources, example, money, meet people. Sometimes accident can occur. Brilliant, brilliant. Example, when you are having a drink, she said, you're having a drink, you can spill your drink because the vehicle is moving, you know. Okay. The vehicle, the train or flight can get there late. Yes, that's right. Aha, Brabafo is writing. He says, yes, new environment. That's right. That's right. New environment, new people. Okay, good. So, yeah, these are the things that we experience in life. Okay, now, some of the things that I personally experience, which I believe everybody experiences, is this. When we travel, we meet people on the way. Okay, sometimes we get at different bus stops, right? And we stop, especially if we are either traveling by road. You know, it doesn't really usually occur when you're traveling by air. Maybe as a result of maybe it's a direct flight. Okay, but they say you stop at different bus stops when you are traveling by bus. Okay, and sometimes, and also it occurs also when you travel by train as well. All right, Sister Judy is saying, when I travel, I already start to think of the routine of events when I get there. Okay, yes, yes. From the very beginning of the journey, we are thinking this journey. How soon will we get there? What will happen when we get there? Too many things like that. Yeah. Okay. Sometimes when I travel, also, I we the vehicle that we take, sometimes we get into potholes, especially yeah, when there are bad roads. Okay, you bump into potholes or some intentional what's it called, stoppages to reduce speed. Okay, so yeah, those are another examples. Sometimes the bus or the vehicle has to stop at the filling station to refuel, right? Because the fuel is running out, right? Okay, so we experience different things while we are traveling. And when we are traveling, what many of us don't usually reflect. I think in life, it is very, very important to reflect on things. It helps us to really find out, or to really come to the understanding, about what life is all about. Sometimes things happen all around us. Those things are some kind of messages that we need to get to be able to understand some things. Okay, I'll give you an example and I will relate it with what I'm talking about. There is a story about King Solomon that some time ago that I read, that he was troubled about life. He was trying to understand what life is all about. Is it King Solomon or was someone else? Well, just a king anyway. Now, this particular king had been trying to achieve something. He had been designing um, something, but he couldn't finish it up. So he was getting fed up about it. Then, one day, while he was reflecting and thinking about his work, suddenly he saw a spider. The spider began to create webs, and he began to be patient. He looked at the spider. The spider was building the webs. Sometimes the spider fell, all right? Sometimes the web tore apart, but the spider kept at it. Now, it got to a point when the spider had really expanded the web, and he was able to stay in the middle of the web. Now, that was a lesson for the king. He now began to reflect on what he has seen, and that taught him a lesson that when you start something, you don't stop. You continue at it. It may take you a long time. You may fall. He learns from the spider. Now, I'm relating that to our life journey. When we are traveling, when we are going somewhere, we should look all around us. We should reflect, because they can pass several messages to us. Now, let us relate life, the experiences we have in life, in a journey. Let us relate it with life. I'll pick it in bits, and then I will expand it. Are we ready? It's going to be exciting. Now, when we travel with people. Is that right? Hardly will you travel alone. Maybe even traveling alone. Maybe you only have a bicycle or a bike. That's when you can travel alone. But apart from that, every other means of transportation gives you the opportunity to travel with people. Okay? Now, when you travel with people, what does that tell you? What does that tell your subconscious mind? It simply means that as human beings, we are social animals. We are social beings. You see, everyone grew up in a family. It could be a nuclear family, it could be an extended family, it could be a compound family, but we grew up in some kind of family. Some people may not grow up with their own real parents. Some people may have grown up with their guardians or foster parents, or whatever it is. But the truth of the matter is, they still grew up in a family. All right. Some people grew up in the daycare, like the motherless babies' homes. All right. At least they grew up in the midst of children and those who took care of them. That was some kind of family. So from being a child, we are introduced into the society. We are introduced into a social environment, And why does that happen? That happens for a reason. It happens because we learn to relate with people. When we're in our mother's womb, we're only relating with, the vacuum, the enclosure at which we were. When we get into the world, we begin to relate with society. Okay? Maybe even in our mother's womb, we were relating with our mother, with our unconscious self. Okay? So, now, What does that mean? We begin to relate with people. We interact with people. And while we are doing that, we learn to respect people. We learn to honor adults. We learn to honor aged persons. We learn to value, we learn different values like love, patience, kindness, faithfulness, diligence, and self control. We understand the importance of putting others first, even more than we trying to have our own way. We pick up ideals of being compassionate, understanding, and even the most wicked person on earth sometimes soft pedal and shows compassion towards somebody else. By being social beings, we are molded emotionally. And this doesn't happen in one day. It continues, all through life. Life is a journey. For some, they learn these lessons in life very early. Some, and life comes with different tests. All right? So, the values we have learned in life will help us to be able to pass some tests. And if we have not learned those values, we definitely fail. Okay? Some people don't want to learn these values, don't want to learn these tests. Sorry, don't want to learn this experiences. Don't want to learn these values. All right, and what happens to them later on in life when they face challenges, when they face tests, they don't know how to handle it maturely. All right, handle it in a way that they'll be able to excel. All right. So, for example, you are going on the road, and somebody just step on your toes. All right. Courtesy says that you should say sorry or excuse me. I'm sorry. You should apologize. And if you don't, you may find problems. You may come into somebody who is very, very angry already, and the person may just give you, maybe a punch or something, or may yell at you or shout at you. All right. Now, the other way around, if somebody if somebody steps on your toes and does not say sorry, now you can if you are not the person who has learned to be patient with others, you will just immediately retaliate. You can just beat the person up and do and stuff like that. But that doesn't show that you come from a well, cultured environment, right? It's simply by being patient, will show that it could tell people several things. First, you are cultured. Secondly, you are patient with others. Third, it could be that you are in your mind thinking, is this person all right? Is this person okay? Probably the person is not in his right senses. All right. So you could be evaluating the situation. All right. So, this is something that we must understand. I want to read a quote by Oliver Goldsmith, the Irish poet and playwright. He said, life is a journey that must be traveled, no matter how bad the roads and accommodations. Life must be traveled. So for us who are trying to escape some things, all right, and not following life the way it is, we will definitely come into some, bump into some real big potholes, and there may be big accidents. Okay, now the next thing I want us to learn from when we travel is this. At times we travel alone. For example, we don't go with our family or with our friends. We go alone. We meet strange people on the way. All right. Now, what does that teach us? It teaches us that we must understand that as a person, we are an individual. Okay? And we travel alone. It is the principle is telling us that we are an individual, that we have our own lives to live. Okay? Now, you must realize anytime, any day that you are an individual and you are responsible for your life. It's a good thing that you were born into a society. We understand that. But even the society raised you up to be independent. All right? Now, at least independence in quotes. Okay? Because sometimes you still have to, the society will still have to demand your, social, self. Okay? But at least the society teaches you to ask questions. The society teaches you to think. The society teaches you to criticize. The society teaches you to evaluate. The society teaches you to come to some conclusions. And you are left with the burden of making your own decisions. And from that decision, you are judged as well. They allow you to make your decisions, but they will judge you by your decision. It tells you that as a person, that you are an individual and that you must have your own perspective. You must, if you may accept every other thing, you may socialize with every other person, you may live with every other person, but you must come to your own consciousness. You must reason, you must think, you must be able to look at life from your own perspective, from your own experience, from your own, from your own angle. All right. Okay. So you must really understand this. Now, there are times when you need to be social. We understand. But most important, you must learn the principle to be responsible for your life. Be responsible for your life. Be responsible for your life. But till date, some of us are not responsible for our lives. Some of us are not responsible for our lives. It is evident by the way we are living. It is seen by the choices that we make. Now, how do you explain someone who knows that a substance, an event, a situation, or an engagement can either harm him or make his life better? Those who knows that something is harmful or something is not beneficial to them, how do you explain when they still go ahead and do something for the pleasure, for the limited pleasure it can give them? All right. Somebody who for example, you tell somebody somebody has cancer, for example, and the person is but the person cannot quit smoking. Smoking has caused his life to be reduced. But you see, he or she refuses to stop smoking because of the benefits, because of the trivial. I call it trivial because it doesn't have a sustainable or good benefit. It just is a limited pleasure that it gives them. All right. Now, this is just smoking. Now, this smoking is just an example. All right. In so many other areas, everybody does some things for some reasons that to others may look stupid or inconsistent. All right, but we do it for some form of pleasure that we derive. You know, the thing is, are we responsible for our lives? All right, are we responsible for our lives? We need to be responsible for our lives because we we are the ones living in it. We are the ones living in it. Life is a journey. Life is not a straight jacket thing. Some people have thought that life is a straight jacket thing and they decide to cut their life short. All right? They're not responsible for their lives. Some people commit suicide because they don't understand what life is all about. Do we have the right to cut short our lives? Have we forgotten that life is a journey? Which driver will say, well, I don't understand where I'm going, and so he goes to go and crash the car or the vehicle on a tree or over the bridge, right? We need to just continue to travel. Things may be difficult for us. We may be experiencing challenges. It doesn't mean that we should not continue. Life is a journey. You will stop at some point. You will continue to move at some point. Just continue to move. Because as you continue to move, you will learn. You will learn different kinds of lessons. The third thing I want us to look at when we travel these days. Some people get off at different bus stops, but you keep on traveling in a vehicle. Have you experienced that? You're traveling from one point to the other. Some people presses the bell, and the driver stops. All right, that is in some societies. Okay, maybe in Africa they will shout out to the driver, "Driver, stop me here! I'm getting down here." The person gets off, but you are still in the bus traveling. What does that tell you? It means that life is a journey. It is not a dash. You don't live life to end it suddenly. You will need to travel, and when you do, you stop at different points. Have you noticed that it is not everyone you ever knew in your life that is still with you today? Have you noticed that? I learned something from an old friend, okay? And he said to me, 20 children cannot play together for 20 years. 20 children cannot play together for 20 years. Look at when we were in primary school. We made friends. Friends that we were intimate together, we were playing together, we were eating together. But after primary school, I tell you, there's a possibility that you not even meet anyone among them again in your life. Isn't that awkward? Isn't that strange? Well, it is because people get off at different bus stops. Now, what does that tell you? It means that people come into our lives for different reasons. It may be to encourage you, it may be to strengthen you, it may be to teach you a lesson that life is not all rosy, that it may be to cheat you, to do something bad to you, to disappoint you, to insult you, or to give you, or sometimes even to do to give you some better chances. Okay? It has to be for a purpose that somebody comes into your life. Check out. Look at it carefully. When people come to you, they usually come with a message. They come with a message. Okay? They come with a message. Everybody that comes to you, there is something to know, there's something to learn, there's something to benefit, there's something to understand, there's something to learn from them. It may be positive, it may be negative. But the bottom line is that people come into our lives for different reasons. Okay? And when they do, we must, in our subconscious mind, try to pick the lesson that the person is trying to pass across to us. Okay. Second thing that we must understand from this same point is that we must learn that when these people come into our lives, there will be a time that they will leave our lives. And that is a painful period for us. That is a painful period for us. Some people come to stay for a short time. It may be 1 minute. It may be 1 day, maybe 1 week. We can never forget them. Okay? And some people come and they stay for a long time. Those are our very intimate friends. Those are our spouses. Okay? But you see, at some point or the other, they will have to leave us alone. The thing that we must never do is don't beg them to stay when it is time for them to go. If you beg them to stay when it's time for them to go, they may eventually stay, but you will lose their importance. Your relationships will become a nuisance. You will devalue each other. You know, even if it is death that is trying to take them away, and we are forcing them to stay, we will bear the consequences. Because life is a journey. When it is time for them to go and you stop them from going, you're trying to rewind the clock. And you pay for the consequences. It's just what life is all about. So when it's time for somebody to go, please don't stop them from going. It will be painful, yes, bear it, but at least they have come to teach you that lesson. The next point is this. Sometimes we spend much time at a bus stop than at other times. Okay? For example, have you noticed that you're traveling somewhere, the bus driver stops, he drops one person and he moves. At other times, he stops and maybe something happens to the car. There's a flat tire, or something just makes the driver to stay longer than usual. Or maybe it is you yourself that got off at a point. You stay there for a long time. All right? Trying to do something. It is simple. What is this principle or this idea trying to pass across to us? Number one, failure is like spending much time at a bus stop. There may be lessons that you need to learn very well before you move on in life. Okay? Excuse me. I need to put something. Right. Okay. All right. Now, I was saying that Failure is like spending much time at a bus stop. There may be lessons that you need to learn very well before you move on in life. The reason why some of us are where we are today, we are in particular situations that is all the same. Okay? It could be we are kept to be in a particular place to learn some lessons that we have not learned. Okay? All right? And that is something that we must come to the understanding about. Okay? Now, it may be that you need to understand that there may be other routes to achieving your goal or your destination or getting to your destination. So, why should you be stuck thinking about how to achieve something in one single way? You staying at a bus stop could mean that you are thinking of achieving something in one single way. If you keep staying at that bus stop, it could mean that you are not looking at other ways to achieving your goal. For some people, you may be getting the same, maybe dreaming the same kind of dreams. Are you somebody who dreams that you are in your dream, you are standing at a junction, or you walk to a junction and you stood there? You see different cars moving, you see people moving in the same place, but you are just standing there. The dream is trying to tell you that you are stuck at one point. You need to make a decision. You need to look for other means to getting to your direction, your destination, sorry. All right? Life is a journey. All right? And for some people, it could mean that the reason why you are not taking a decision is because you are afraid. You are skeptical. You are doubting yourself. Or you are afraid of what will happen in the future. It may be time for you to rise up, be courageous, and take a bold step. Hello, Sister Chinwe. All right. Thank you very much. God bless you. Okay, take a bold step. It will do you a lot of good. If you are someone who is afraid to take a decision, I will encourage you to first look at the situation squarely, get more information, speak to people, pray if necessary, seek advice. But the most important thing is take a bold step. Take a decision. Make your decision. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with one bold step. Take that step. And as you take this step, don't stop there. Take the other step. Keep taking steps. And before you know it, you will not just be taking steps. You begin to run. You begin to jump. You begin to fly. Yes. The next point I want to make, we have limited time. Sometimes you can have road accidents on the way. What does this tell us? Accidents in life are usually as a result of carelessness or other people's indifferent attitude. When we are traveling somewhere, we are going somewhere, the reason why we usually have accidents is because we don't take precautions. And how do we relate that to our lives? We have accidents, or we get into accidents when we don't take precautions. All right, for example, every product that you see out there, or maybe 99% of the product that you see out there, they usually have a prescription. They usually have what the product can do, and there is a manual to how to use the product. If you don't go by the manual and you are using your own experiences to handle the product, you may misuse the product, or the product may be destroyed, or the product can even harm you. That is what life is all about. Life is a journey. You can experience accidents in life. Okay. The next point I want to make mention is, sometimes, I've mentioned this before, but I want to say something about it. Sometimes you can hit different bumps on the road. Sometimes you may get into potholes on the road. What does this mean? Why do you think the government put bumps on some streets or some roads? It is because they put it there to reduce speed of drivers, right? Now, that is for car accident. That's for cars or road vehicles, right? Even air vehicles as well, like the plane, the jet, and things like that. The thick clouds or storms, they slow down the jets or planes from moving too fast. Okay? It is a principle in life. How do we relate that to our lives? It simply tells us that in life, there are some times we need to slow down. And sometimes we need to stop hurrying. And sometimes we need to relax. I know some people don't like that word, relax. Life is not a dash. It's not a sprint. Sometimes you need to slow down. Sometimes you need to think. And you see, if you don't want to slow down, nature will slow you down. It could be sickness. Sickness will slow you down. A disease will slow you down. Failure will slow you down. Name it. Several things can slow you down. That is what life is all about. That is what life is all about. You see? The reason why we have, and those periods are meant for us to think, reevaluate, assess our lives, look at how we have been living, and think, am I on the right path? Am I with the right people? Am I doing the right thing? Is this the right time for this activity, or I am too forward? Should I wait? Should I, you reevaluate? Why is holiday a necessity? Holiday is a necessity not for us to go out of work. Holiday is a necessity for us to be able to relax, regain our strength, reevaluate, think. It is really, 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 really important. It is really, really important. Now, the next thing I want to mention here is sometimes the bus or the vehicle we are taking stops at a filling station to fuel, right? The vehicle. Okay? Have you ever wondered why are we always fueling the vehicle? Of course, your normal mind will tell you, of course, we have to fuel the vehicle because if you don't do that, the vehicle will not get to its destination. Aha, that is the answer. How do you relate that to life? Now, sometimes we need to take a break, take a holiday, or to go on what we call solitude. Solitude. Now, what does that do for you? Solitude helps you to regain strength. Solitude helps you to reconnect with yourself, with your inner being. Solitude helps you to be able to re-energize your strengths. Solitude helps you to be able to look at your strengths and your weaknesses and think of how to make your weaknesses become a strength. Solitude helps you to be able to, look for sources, look for areas to rebuild yourself, all right? To regain your strength. So that by the time you come out of solitude, you are far much more better than when you went there. That's what refueling the vehicle is all about. Life is a journey. Are you understanding life? It's an interesting topic, isn't it? Life is a journey. Now, the last question I want to leave with you is this. Why do you travel? Why do you travel? Some people say, well, I go to school, I go to work, I go to a different city, I go to visit my friends, I go to visit my neighbors, I go to do one thing or the other. Okay? Now, in life, we travel. We don't travel aimlessly. We are always traveling with a purpose in mind. Have you ever seen somebody traveling? Somebody who does that without any aim in mind, you say the person is a madman, right? He just rises up and begins to walk around and begins to do all sorts of things, aimlessly. You say the person is a madman. Everybody that travels plans for it. Even if it is 5 minutes plan. Okay? You just jump on a train and begin to go somewhere without a destination. All right? Even gypsies, that those who hitchhike, they don't just hitchhike aimlessly. They hitchhike for a purpose. It tells us that life is all about purpose. Life is a journey, right? A journey with a purpose. What is your purpose in life? But why are you going where you are going? Why are you doing what you are doing? Why are you with the people that you are with? Why are you sitting down at home? Why are you walking on the street? Why are you doing what you are doing? Life is a journey with a purpose. All right, that will end our session for today. I don't want to stop, but I have to stop because I also have a purpose to achieve soon. Okay, thank you very much for listening today. Let's see what our comments have been like. Let's see if we can retell them. Esther Chimwe says, the accidents of life is to help us reflect on what and how we are living. How true. Esther says, staying at a bus stop or station for a long time means you are indecisive, held back by fear. Look for alternative means to continue your journey. Example, if you miss the bus, take a taxi to save time or wait for another bus. Okay, that's very good. Thanks, Lord. She also says, the lesson here is there may be accidents. It is a sign of not following the principles of life. We need to know the manual of life to avoid these accidents. Let's learn from our mistakes and move on. Great, great, great. Hello, T-Boy. Thank you for joining us and watching. I hope you benefit from these life lessons. Okay, all right, let's see some other ones. Hello, Sarah and Bambali. Thank you for joining us today. I hope you are benefiting from this. I know that I know it's things like this are things that we usually we think about this actually, but some maybe not in detail, or maybe not some of us don't have a clue to all these things, but maybe a bit of the things that we have seen has has given us an understanding of how we should relate life's challenges, life issues, So it's a pleasure having you all here today, and it's a pleasure for me to be speaking with you all today. June says, if life is a journey, let us ask ourselves, where are we heading with it? Thanks, June. Brilliant. Thank you very much. Okay. All that is well ends well. That's Shakespeare. We have to end this session right now. See you next week. Till then, enjoy your life. Bye for now.